My life changed the night I saw the devil. It was the summer of '74, and I had just turned 8 years old. We lived in a sleepy corner of rural Mississippi. Nobody ever talked much about fear back in those days. But that night, fear spoke to me in a way I'll never forget. It wasn't in the form of a nightmare or a shadow on the wall. It came to me in flesh and fire. Life back then was simple but hard. My four brothers and I lived with our dad, who worked himself ragged, hauling pulpwood. He sweated and cursed under the sun every day, just trying to keep us clothed and fed. Being a single father to five boys took its toll, and sometimes he'd get that faraway look in his eyes, the kind that hinted he was carrying more weight than any man should. He tried his best to raise us right, but I wasn't making it any easier for him. See, I had a wild streak. I'd test boundaries, just to see how far they'd bend. I'd skip chores, play pranks on my brothers, and stay out past dark, despite knowing how much that bothered Dad. He would yell and sometimes ground me, but I just shrugged it off. Life felt too short to worry about being good all the time. But that was before my grandma's visit. Grandma visited to help out around the house one warm Saturday afternoon. Her small frame was wrapped in a shawl despite the sticky heat. She had eyes that seemed to pierce right through you. And when she spoke, you listened. That evening after dinner, she pulled me aside onto the porch. "James, you're getting too wild," she said, her voice low and serious. "Your daddy's got enough on his plate without you adding any more trouble. Now, I'm going to tell you a story, and boy, you do well to listen." I rolled my eyes, expecting another lecture, but what she told me was something else entirely. Back when I was a girl, there was talk of a devil spirit who roamed these parts. Folks said he'd come for children who didn't mind their parents. He'd snatch them up and take them away, and no one ever saw those children again. I tried to stifle a laugh, but her sharp gaze froze the sound in my throat. "You think I'm joking? You don't have to believe me, but mark my words, James. Be mindful, and don't test what you don't know," Grandma warned. She left late that evening, but her words clung to me like sweat. You see, I didn't believe in devils, ghosts, or spirits, but there was still a part of me that couldn't shake the eerie feeling her story had planted. Over the next few days, strange things started happening. I'd catch shadows moving out the corner of my eye, but when I'd turn to look, nothing would be there. And at night, I'd hear faint, distant sirens that never seemed to get closer. It was like a phantom sound carried on the wing. One evening, I was playing outside after sunset, chasing fireflies with my little brother Henry. The air felt different, heavy like the sky was pressing down on us. As I turned to head back to the house, I saw it out of the corner of my eye, a figure standing at the edge of the woods. It was tall, with skin the color of embers and eyes that glowed like hot coals. It was there 1 second and I blinked and it was gone. I told myself it was a trick of the fading light. Then late one night, everything came to a head. It was around 3 in the morning when I felt something cold and strong wrap around me. My eyes snapped open, and there he was, the devil from Grandma's story. His face was long and gaunt, his horns curling like twisted roots. He had me bundled in my blanket, lifting me as if I weighed nothing. And that smell, I'll never forget it, like sulfur filling the room. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My brothers lay motionless in their beds, oblivious to the nightmare unfolding in front of them. He looked me in the eyes and smiled a wide, unnatural smile. "You're coming with me now," the devil growled, his voice like gravel scraping against metal. He carried me kicking and screaming out of the house, his footsteps making no sound on the wooden floorboards. Outside, an old 1950s ambulance waited. Its red light spun in eerie silence, casting long, twisting shadows across the yard. I struggled, thrashing with everything I had. Somehow, I managed to wiggle free from his grasp and hit the ground running. "You won't get away, boy," he roared behind me. But I didn't dare look back. The ambulance roared to life, its engine howling like a banshee as it gave chase. I sprinted through the fields, the tall grass whipping against my legs. My lungs burned and my heart felt like it might burst, but I didn't stop. I couldn't. The red light grew brighter, gaining on me. Just when I thought I was done for, I saw the faint glow of my grandma's house in the distance. I poured every ounce of strength I had into my legs, stumbling up her front steps and pounding on the door. "Grandma, open up, please, Grandma," I yelled. The door flew open. Grandma's eyes grew as wide as saucers when she saw what was chasing me. "Get inside, hurry," she said as she pulled me into the house just as the red light faded into the darkness. She held me close, whispering a prayer under her breath. Grandma ran into her bedroom, grabbing a Bible and a small bottle of holy oil, which she immediately applied to my forehead while she continued praying. I fell asleep after an hour or so, but not Grandma. She sat up the whole night with that Bible in her hands and a prayer on her lips. The next morning, I told Dad and my brothers what had happened. They laughed it off, teasing me about having nightmares. Only Grandma believed me, and from that day on, we kept the secret between us. She would come over on occasion to bless the house and rub that holy oil on my and my brothers' heads. I started behaving after that. I helped with chores, listened to Dad, and stayed out of trouble as much as I could. I never saw the devil or that ambulance again, but sometimes I wonder, where would I have ended up if it wasn't for Grandma saving me that night? And to this day, I'm thankful I never had to find out.